Hey guys, welcome back. Today is Q&A day. Woo, yay, right? So we got some fun stuff. I'm gonna answer some questions that you guys have left at the bottom, like awesome things, right? Comments. Before we start into our Q&A, guys, again, I love them. Make sure you throw some comments at the bottom if you have questions, or maybe you want me to do a video that I haven't done, don't forget to leave that at the bottom. If you liked any of my videos in the past, or even now, don't forget to pound that like button. Also guys, if you want more of this fun stuff and videos, don't forget to subscribe. All right, it's that time. Let's hop into some of the Q&A questions, right? My first one is, where's the drain plug to change the transmission fluid, right? Well, good news is there's one right here. Who knew, right? So yes, I have it laying on the ground, but the only issue is for the drain plug, it's gonna be underneath, right? Now to check the fluid, it's gonna be right here on the passenger side of your truck. Now this bad boy came out of a Freightliner Cascadia, right? And then the drain plug is gonna be right about here, but underneath, and it's gonna drain out from the bottom. So once you let it drain, and I highly suggest that you let it drain until it starts almost non-trickling. Once it's done, put the plug back in, and then you would fill right here on the side, which would be on your passenger side of the vehicle. All right, and don't forget, you guys can't put a straight hose. Get a hose with a hook and then start pumping until it starts coming out. All right, once it comes out, you're done. And then you put the plug in, easy peasy. All right, our next fun one is, so what does it mean when you have a solid check engine light, but no diagnostic code on the dash, right? So we see that a lot, all the time. So there's a few things that's going on, especially with the newer trucks now these days. The truck is constantly doing a lot of self-checks and balances, especially with after treatment, right? The truck is driving, they'll throw a code, light will indicate it, right? And then you keep driving it to your next designation, and sometimes the truck will create itself and the code will go out, but the light is still on. Well, the truck has to do this a few more times, and if it clears on its own, then the light will go out on its own. Now, sometimes a lot of drivers I know can't wait. They take it to a shop. The shop will hook up and says, yes, a code has came up, but it's no longer active, and it'll show them time, date, and stamped on their side when it occurred and for how long, right? So if it lasted, it's only been a few days and the light's still on, there's a good indication that it just needs to be cleared and the truck probably hasn't gone through its cycle. You can sometimes turn off the truck, disconnect the batteries, wait 5 minutes, and then reconnect it and see if the light goes back out. But that's what usually indicates when you see a solid light on with no codes. All right, so now on to our next question. He said, what's going on, brother? I have one for you. I keep having an HVAC code. His code is 1548 FMI 5, all right? And that's on a 2017 Freightliner Cascadia. He's trying to figure out what's going on. So on the HVAC system, now guys, what you could do is put that in Google. Sometimes they'll give you a proper information. If not, if you have a technician that you know and like, and you give him a beer once in a while, he will tell you what that code's about. I did look this one up. This is a temp sensor that is inside your truck around the evaporator box. Almost 90% of the time, it's just a sensor. Believe it or not, it's very easy. You pop it in, right, or you pop it out, replace it, and you pop it back in. You turn off the truck, turn it back on, and kick on the AC, and then it should recalibrate itself, and then you would see that the code should go right out. Sometimes it's even faster. You plug it in, you put it in the box, it may go right out. But those are notorious for going out. There's a lot of moisture in that box, and it just shorts out. But that's usually the most common problem, is the sensor itself. All right, our next guy. How can you tell the depth dozer is bad without a computer? So that's a little tough, right? Usually the reason why we need a computer, one, we could do a test so we can see how much fluid is pumping out when we do a test, right? I really can't see one other than you could pull out the depth dozer just to make sure there's no carbon buildup around it, because sometimes if carbon builds up and then it leaks, it'll just trickle instead of spraying. You'll see a lot of white substance around it, like cocaine. Funny, right? But it actually looks like that. Use warm water to remove it. And then there's 3 bolts. We did a video how to remove the depth dozer. take a flathead screwdriver, poke around it, pour a little hot, warm water in there, it'll disintegrate, and then take the tip of your dozer and then put it in there and then plug it back in, all back up, and then hit the regen button and see if the code goes out. That's like a simple way for you guys to try to do something on your own without going to a shop right away. But I want to say 90% of the time you're coming to us to figure out what's going on, and we are definitely going to be using a computer. All right, next one is, how much play is there supposed to be on the tail shaft, output shaft, right? On his, I'm assuming, he didn't say specifically where it's at. So let's talk about the main things, right? On your driveline. So it's going to be your tail shaft on the transmission, your differential, or your inner axle as well, the little short one that goes from both differentials. So you should have about an 1/8. He's saying he has 1/16 plus up and down side to side. So 1/8 is usually the most allowable for play, and he still has a vibration. Unfortunately, with a vibration, it's something I would have to take a look at it. Usually I will jack up the truck, start it, and see how the tires all look. Maybe if I see some bouncing around, that will cause a vibration. Check around your carrier bearing. You know, if it has a lot of excessive play cracking around the rubber area, I would highly replace that. Put your differentials in lock and see if that makes a difference as well. And if you put weight on it, does it dissipate? So vibration's a little harder just because I would need to see it. Also, do you have cupping on the tires? If it looks like cupping, you'll probably have bad shocks, and that would create a vibration. Those are some of the basic things that you could check yourself. And also make sure that your suspension is up high, right? You know, your airbags and that your leveling valve, that the angle is at a 90. Shouldn't be like this or like that. Should be just like that. And then make sure there's a proper gap. Anything beyond that, you may need a technician to take a look at to see what's going on with the vibration. All right, guys, now we're down to our last question. Is there any alternative trans fluid that you'll use when swapping out fluids? I'm gonna tell you right now, at this, in our timing point, I highly recommend that use synthetic, period. When you use, depending on your transmission, make sure you follow the OEM's specified weight, right? So like this one here is 90-75 weight, right? Full synthetic. If you have a manual transmission, the Eatons, it's gonna be the 50 weight synthetic, but try to stay with synthetic. Synthetic's the best way to go with your transmission. Just make sure you find the proper weight to your transmission. You can find that out with your OEM. Doesn't matter what brand, if it's Mobil, Shell, that part doesn't matter. Just try to keep it synthetic and stay with the same weight. That's as best I can tell you if you're trying to save money. Synthetic, and then pick whatever you want from there and make sure that you use the proper weight. All right, guys, so that's all the questions I have for today. And I want some more, so that means you guys need to leave me some comments at the bottom. If you guys like what you saw today, don't forget to pound that like button. And guys, subscribe. I want to see you guys around and save you money. I'll see you guys around at the next video.